Okay, how to create a project from the printer. So where you're going to start is hit project right here. Then go to create project. Then from here you're going to touch right up here in the blank and name it. And then in this case, name it whatever you're going to remember it as. I'm going to make a mock grower number, so I'm just going to name it the year. So what I've noticed is a lot of the hop growers that are creating these grower numbers are creating one file. They're creating one, and then you're just going to go in there and edit it. So you start with, say, the year, so 20-WA, whatever it is, 400-001, and then when you want to start your next lot number, 002, you would just edit this same file. You just go in there and edit it. So that's all I'm going to name it, 2020. Name it, if whatever your project is, name it what you want to. Green check mark. Again. Now it's going to open up this page right here. Give it a second. This is the landing page. We're going to start here at the plus. We want to add something in here. Normal text for your grower number. Once we have that open, just touch right here. And we're going to put 20 for the year. That's the year it is right now. If you're doing it at a later time, just put in whatever yours is. And we want our dash. And we want to go back here, and we want whatever your state is. Mine's Washington. I'm going to make up a fake one. I don't think we've reached 900 yet here in Washington. Then you want your dash again. And I'm just going to say this is my first one, so 001. So that's my first line of text. And what I mean by that, so I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it. So what I mean by that is my first line of text is going to be my first trigger pull. So I open up the printer, I got ink in it, I'm at my bale, and my first trigger pull is going to print that now. Boom. And it's going to print out the 20-WA900-001. And then my second line of information, so I'm going to hit the trigger again, is going to be my variety. And in this case, I'm going to add the footprint as well, the YCR footprint. So I like this. I like the way it looks. So I'm done with that. What I need to add in order to get that second trigger pull is what they call a line divider. So again, I'm going to go to my plus. And it's over here under other. So select other, line divider. And just from doing this over and over again, it's a bit of a guessing game your first couple of times, especially if you're doing a different type of project. But just from doing this over and over again, I know we're going to be somewhere around 250 to 200. So I'm going to start at 200. And what I'm doing here is think of your project as a horizontal linear line. And the greater the number, the further to the right it's going to move the project, and the lower the number, the further to the left it's going to do. So we're at 200 here. I know that that's probably about where and at the next page, so just go ahead and hit your green check marks to save it. And now that I'm here, here's what I mean. This is starting at 0. Your 2 right here is starting at 0. The bigger the number, the more to the right you're going to move it. So that line divider, if I would have hit 0, it would have put it right over the 2. I'm really close, but I'm not quite there, so let me show you another tool. This little crisscross, I'm actually going to show you. Crisscross of arrows here. Hit that, and then left, right, up, down. So I want it more right. It's right on top of my 1 right now, and I don't want it there, so now it's where I want it. I got enough room. If I would have left it there, it would have cut my 1 off. You just would have got the zeros there. So that looks good. Again, this right now, if I stopped, would just basically print my grower number and then nothing. But I want variety. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit plus. And I want my variety, which is just going to be text. Normal text. And I'm just going to do a cascade. So abbreviation. CAS. Save it. And I need to pick my position, but in text and an image, which we're going to do in a second, you have to go to geometry. So go right here to geometry. And 80 is way too low. It's going to put it right over my grower number. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of that. And I want to say we're probably around 260. If not, we'll micro tune it with the crisscross. So hit green again. A little too far over. It's going to show up way over here. So just crisscross. I think you can actually touch here and it'll move. So see that? I just touched the screen. So now that I have it selected, I can touch where I want it to go and it'll move. So there's a couple ways you can do it. I want to get it over a little further. I like when so the further to the right, the more dead space I would get when I pulled the trigger. So if I have that cascade all the way over here where it was originally, when I pull my second trigger pull, I'm gonna have to clear a bunch of space before it actually starts printing. I don't want that. When I pull the trigger, I want it to start. Take the guesswork out of it. So I like where it's at. Hit green check mark. It's gonna show me how it looks here. I like that. So I'm ready to move on to my next and final piece of the project, which is adding the footprint or whatever else you want to add, but in my case, it's the footprint. Again, I'm gonna come up here to other. I'm going to select image. Once I select that, it's going to give me image path, please select image. You want to click that. I have two on here. They're really no different, just one is, right to left, the other one's left to right. So depending on how you want it to appear, I kind of like this one. So I'm going to pick this one. See how it's showing it. That's what I was showing you right here in this picture. Another thing that's handy for is if you have multiple images here that aren't labeled clearly, you don't know which one you want, you can toggle through and it's going to give you an image of what it looks like. Once you have the one you want, hit your green check mark. I didn't do my geometry yet. So 160 is going to be too low. I'm going to guess 260 again. See if that puts us where we want to be. Green check mark again. Not close enough. So I'm going to need to scroll over. And I noticed by seeing some growers who are using this, you're giving yourself quite a bit of space between your variety. So I moved it over quite a bit here. You can see now that I hit check mark, it gives me quite a bit of space. So I like the way I'm done. This is how I want to print. So you have your grower number over here. It's a made up one I did, Washington 900. And you have a second trigger pull, which then allows you to print your variety and the footprint. So once you like the way it looks, just hit your check mark. Go back, just hit back here. And to get what you just created, there's a couple ways. If you're in the file or whatever that you want, you can just hit your arrow and it'll scroll over. If you have a bunch of projects, I don't suggest doing that because it'll take forever unless you're just lucky and it's the next project. Hit your file here and you can scroll through. Remember, I created it as 2020 project, so I would select that, hit my green check mark, and that's the other way you can open it. And you can, I don't want that, so go back. So any project you create, you can verify it's the right one just by scrolling over. It's touch sensitive, so you just come here and look. So there you go. That's how you create a project here on the printer.